What's shaking? Welcome back to All In. I'm your host, Rick Jordan, and today we're going to talk about some amazing things around foundational beliefs. And it's not things that I typically talk about on this show or mostly anywhere, but I'm excited to talk about it today and give you a little snippet into my heart. Before we go through this, I know you're going to want to share this with a lot of people today, and I don't even know the number, but I know it's just going to be a lot of people because it's going to hit you hard. It's going to crack things open for you that you've never expected before. And I don't do promotions. I don't do sponsors. It's just I look for people like you to help, to reach more people and change their lives. So as we dive into this today, just sit back, buckle up, and just take a deep breath. Everyone knows that, at least everyone who knows me closely understands that I have a deeply rooted spiritual foundation in my life. And everyone has, if you want to call it God, source, whatever, there's a lot of phrases right now for something bigger than yourself. But for my purposes, I like to call him God. And I don't typically talk about where my strength comes from and why I do things the way that I do, because I have this driving force inside of me to actually help a lot of people. And there's coaches that I have that have actually told me, it's like, you're even like the idiot that legitimately wants to help other people, because I have for-profit businesses. And obviously that's the case because we need to make money in order to do life, in order to survive, in order to eat, in order to have shelter, have a house. And of course we like those nice things too. And the more money you have, the more nice things you can enjoy. Money is something that's always been just a tool for me to achieve an end. And that end is a purpose that I believe that everyone has as far as what our purpose is on this planet for this life that we have right now. And I saw this thing from Elon Musk just the other day. And when this publishes, this will be a little bit old news, but it sparked my memory today while we're recording this, is there was this plea from the United Nations, and the UN put out, it was kind of like calling rich people on the carpet to be like, hey, use your money for something good. And it was very cool. I love this dude, Elon Musk, because his response was freaking phenomenal. First, they were trying to call out the billionaires, right? Like the richest people in the world, which as of at least today, as of recording, it's Elon Musk is the richest person in the world since Tesla passed $1 trillion market cap with their company's value. And of course, there's Jeff Bezos, who is now number 2. But then behind them, I don't know the order, but it's always, like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. Those are like the top 5 typically, right? And as I saw this plea, the UN was saying, it's like, hey, there are 41 million people in, third world countries around the world that will die in the coming 12 months because of hunger. And we think that the billionaires could do something because all we need is $6 billion to feed all of them and quote unquote solve world hunger. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting concept. Just $6 billion, huh? And I look at that, I'm actually being sincere in that statement, because that's not a lot of money when it comes to something like this. When you look at like the GDP of the United States, of China, of some of the largest economies around the world, that's actually not a lot of money. But they were calling out these billionaires, which ironically are all leaders of American companies. That should tell you something. Even though we've had troubled economic times over the past year and a half with the pandemic, all of these top people are actually Americans, right? And I'm excluding, others that are in like the Forbes list and all that, because, there's people I've seen like Vladimir Putin who have been listed at the top, and nobody really knows how much money he has because he's the leader of a government, a pretty interesting government. But these are in this list of billionaires. They were calling them out, right? Those top 5 that I gave you, saying you could end world hunger right now. And as of today, when I'm recording this, Elon Musk is worth $300 billion. That's a lot of coin. Hey, and he responds back. He's like, no problem. If you can show me how $6 billion will be spent to quote unquote solve world hunger and show me the math behind that, I will sell my shares today, $6 billion worth, and donate the money. I was like, oh, snap. That was amazing. An incredible response, because I don't believe like the UN actually had a plan. They just came up with this number out of the sky and called it out there. And when I look back at what I've done with money in the past 20 years of my life to help do these things, I used to pray, and here's my spiritual foundation, right, that I was talking about. I used to pray for things, right, that people would say, oh, pray to end world hunger, pray that you'll guide me, God, to do whatever I'm supposed to do, or pray to ask, hey, what can I do? What am I supposed to do? And it's like you used to pray for answers, or it'd be like, hey, bring world peace, or stop this conflict with these countries, and all of these things. And there's a quote from Mother Teresa that I'm going to talk about here, because Elon Musk brought this topic back up in my head around, he's saying, hey, show me the math and I will happily sell this money. He wasn't praying to feed the hungry. He wasn't praying to hey, God, show me to do this or do that. He was actually sitting there, I bet you, I don't know if he's a spiritual guy or something like that, but he might have thought about this to begin with, because he is genuinely trying to put these programs into place so that he can help human beings of all backgrounds, of all demographics, to be able to have better lives. And when it comes to me, it's like I used to be like, God, can you do this, externally? Can you do that externally? Can you please change this other person right here, or, repair this friendship, this relationship, or God, please, guide our president to do these kinds of things or whatever, and all these things that are external are things that I used to pray for. But the things that you're supposed to pray for is strength. Because I used to believe that prayer can change things, right? Prayer can change external things. And of course, I believe that God has the ability to do that because of my spiritual foundation, that he can pretty much do anything. But I've come to realize that's not how it's intended to work. How it's intended to work is when you say, God, change me. Take me and maybe shift my mindset a little bit so that I'm not fixed in this spot over here to where I'm closed-minded about everything else and thinking that I can't help feed 41 million people, to where I feel like I can't make this life-changing decision, to where I feel like I can't move forward from this place that I feel stuck in right now. And I'm asking you to change things around me, right? So that I can experience some sort of freedom or some sort of connection or some sort of purpose in what I see going on around me. But now it's, what? Change me so that I can change things. Did you catch that? God, change me so that I can change things. There's a principle that I abide by, in that we all have a purpose on this planet. Whether you believe in God or not, there's no reason to exist, to be born, if it wasn't to positively affect other people in life. And when you just sit there and do nothing and look around you, and I've known people like this my entire life, that take a look around them and be like, oh, I wish I could help there. Oh, I wish I could help here. And the reason they're not is because they're feeling like they have no resources to do so, or it's not their place, or that it's somebody else's job to do that. All of those are coming from the wrong position, versus saying, hey, God, change me, and I can change things. When you start to shift your mindset that way and start to look inward at yourself, in order to make that shift, that's when things will happen. You'll be like, oh, well, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do that. Oh, here's another $1 million I just made this past month. I could donate and affect 10,000 lives. I could provide food. I could open up a new charity. I could do all these things. I could help my brother get out of debt. I could help my best friend move to a different country to meet the girl of his dreams. Whatever it is, you recognize that all of a sudden you're starting to give out more and more and more and more because you looked inward. Stop looking outward at all these things and thinking, man, I wish that could happen. Must be nice for somebody like Elon Musk to be able to be like, yeah, I can sell 6 billion shares. If you look inward and start to make that shift and say, oh, well, what do I need to change so that I can change things? When you start to give out that way by looking in, that's when stuff is going to break free in your life, and you'll be able to enjoy some things that you never even thought possible, all because you're able to impact other people. Start to say, God changed me so that I can change things.